Sonic's Quest Issue 3. Fortunately, Sonic realizes that Tails was in the swap bot fast enough as he's spin dashing right through it and killing him, because he recognizes his actual voice shouting from pain in there and sees his tail sticking out. That was a close one. Sonic slams right into a wall of, plexiglass, whatever that is, because naturally Eggman had heard him behind him and prepared for the attack. Another wall comes down to trap Sonic, and he gets overwhelmed with poisonous gas. But fortunately, Tails comes to the rescue using blasters on the SWATbot suit to blast the control consoles with his hands. Sonic fortunately wakes up not suffering from any lingering damage from the poison gas, and Eggman once again calls Tails a two-tailed freak, and says the Death Egg is being launched into space, but without a Chaos Emerald for it to actually work. Eggman says that his convenient gravity gauntlet will protect him in a stabilizing field long before Sonic will be able to attack him, and this allows him to try to escape down a hutch to his other control room while everyone else is kind of stuck to the floor from the inertia of the moving Death Egg. Knuckles orders his Chaotix to give out damage reports, and they go out to do so. If Knuckles is really going to be part of the Chaotix, I'm happy to see him at least have the respect of being the leader. With Sonic and Tails able to walk around freely again on the Death Egg, Eggman releases Silver Sonic, which he had made from Sonic's data while he was a robot. So first we had something out of Sonic 3 happen, but more so, and now we've got the ending of Sonic 2, taking place after Knuckles' Chaotix, mind you. This isn't really a complaint, and just amuses hell at the interesting way that the comic used to handle game adaptations. This is how you do it right, being original instead of an advertisement. The IDW comic would have just done a fanfiction novelization of Sonic 2 and 3 and left it at that, making it kind of pointless to read if you already experienced those stories. This is something really creative. Sonic tells Tails to go to the control room and figure out what to do against the Death Egg, while he'll fight the giant Silver Sonic. Even though I'm sure Tails could have helped just fine using the blasters of his SWATbot suit, this feels like Tails' first time being a tech wizard guy, if only because he's using technology to fight, and he shows a lot of potential. Sonic uses the super peel out to give his punch more force, but just gets knocked back instead, because the robot is too tough and powerful, basically mopping the floor with him. Odd, I remember it taking like 8 hits to kill in the Genesis game, though it was pretty bullshit that you had to fight it with no rings. That made it kinda tough. Sonic finally defeats the robot in a much more creative way by using live sliced cables to electrocute it, so it looks like he didn't even need Tails' help. Eggman puts on battle armor that's linked to the Death Egg itself, making him just as powerful as it. I guess it means he had a lot of magic in the armor. This is also a neat concept, although it can never really be carried out, like, too much, especially not in the games, because Sonic would be attacking a human target if he was fighting Eggman directly, which would risk killing him, and if he was allowed to just kill him, it could end the series, and fans would complain that it was too dark. Unfortunately for Eggman, he comes back to see that Silver Sonic is threatening him, because Sonic has started using Tails' plan to control the robot from the inside. That's a pretty great idea, makes him even more powerful. Why can't he do this all the time? I wonder if Sonic is just talking tough when he says he's gonna squash Eggman. Because again, if he was okay with killing him, he would have done it a long time ago. Also, again, I'm wondering why he, did he go through the trouble of taking out all of his internal components so that he'd be able to fit in it like a suit? Tails starts watching the fight, and after Sonic throws Eggman out of the Death Egg from the ceiling, and I guess Eggman's battle armor acts as a spacesuit for him so that doesn't kill him. Tails explains that he had rigged the Death Egg to explode in 20 minutes, but Sonic's battle with Robotnik had damaged so many internal systems that it could ignite at any moment. How does Tails know all this? I guess the control room has a system health monitor. I've always worried about how they're going to delicately handle Tails being a gadgeteer genius, as it's such a sudden shift from his generic tag-along kid role. I hope the comic won't just have it all come at once, that'll just feel forced. At least have a time skip. Good, Tails says that's just what the computer said. So there's an explanation for how he knows how the ship will explode without knowing how it works and everything. They find a magic ring junction box after Tails convinces Sonic to come with them, which can let Sonic bring back a bunch of rings for saving King Acorn. Sonic grabs the ring box and jumps out of the Death Egg holding Tails, saying that his Silver Sonic suit will protect us during their re-entry into the atmosphere. Us? How? Tails isn't in it. Sonic, sure, but Tails? Anyways, he tells Tails to fly and gets out of the Silver Sonic suit. Probably because he's worried that people will think he's been roboticized again and start attacking him on sight. Still, it's a waste of a perfectly good weapon. The detonation of the Death Egg is seen and felt all over Planet Mobius. Even though it would only be seen from one side of the planet, the side facing it, and if it was felt all over the planet, wouldn't that also mean there'd be a bunch of tremors and stuff from the explosion causing lots of damage to the world? They could have easily gone without that confusing text blurb. Sonic's communicator finally starts working again because I guess there was something in the Death Egg itself that was jamming the signal, and it gets called back to her as fast as possible. It's so nice to see such a happy ending. Meanwhile, Eggman immediately gets back home in one piece with his battle armor falling apart, because God forbid we can't even have one issue in the main comic without that one-dimensional jerk. And there's an amusing situation where he sees houseplants, flowers, and a picture of Snively's mother in his office. Aren't houseplants and flowers the same thing though? Like in this context? This is actually pretty interesting. It reveals that Snively doesn't have a blanket hatred for all nature like Robotnik inexplicably does. So he's more of an actual character rather than a straw man. And so maybe he'd be less of a problem because he wouldn't be polluting just for the sake of it. Of course, those flowers could be fake, but we don't know. And he also has a picture of his mother, proving that he does indeed love her, so that's pretty sweet. And then he falls onto Snively, mashing him onto his backside, which somehow doesn't kill him as he stays on it to avoid his wrath. By the way, I guess Robotnik lied to Snively that he was going to roboticize everything on the planet except him, because I don't think Snively would support a plan to roboticize him. If he wanted that, it would have happened a long time ago. It's a shame the story ends before we can get to see King Acorn being restored and have the happy ending be complete. I guess they want to save that for the main comic. Though I fail to see how the specials are so separate from the main comic when they're in the same continuity, intended to serve as continuations of the main comic stories. What can I say? This was an epic adventure. I don't see how Sonic News Network can say the plot was mostly just the stories of Sonic 2, 3 Knuckles though. Because we didn't even see a single zone from those games. There's a pretty creative take on the Death Egg saga with some interesting ideas that I liked. Like the Death Egg sucking up rings through a tube to make itself invincible from the outside. The Death Egg trying to outright sink the floating island on purpose. And Tails using a sort of SWAT-bot mech suit to help out a little, even if its ultimate amount of usefulness was disappointing. And rigging the place to explode after Sonic delays Eggman by fighting with him. So there's an actual explanation for why the Death Egg blew up. And not just fighting normally, but Sonic actually fought using Silver Sonic as a mech suit. That's so creative. Not to mention he defeated Silver Sonic by electrocuting it. And I liked how the Chaotix and Archimedes showed up, even if they didn't really get to do anything aside from one fight that was mostly off screen. I said that Archimedes' fire breath would come in handy, but I never got to see if it did. So many original concepts here, with a very original motivation for Sonic at that. He didn't originally go out to stop the Death Egg, he did it to find rings to save King Acorn. And that just happens to resolve itself after he was brought there. And Tails got to help too! I was expecting the Sonic's quest to be all about finding out why King Acorn is really being crystallized and why he lost his memories, but this was a lot better than I expected. This is the best miniseries in the comics so far. Even Tails got to be useful. I was expecting to see at least a panel or two of Antoine and Bunny going through the woods to lick rings for comedy relief or something, but I guess that would have just been a waste of time. They still never pointed out that the lake only produces one measly ring a day though. They essentially had Sally send her friend Bunny on a pointless mission. Oh well. My only big complaint is that Eggman didn't vanish from the comic for a few issues and just conveniently landed in Robotropolis right away. This was the perfect excuse to get away from him for a while, and let Snively have another moment in the sun, but instead him being in charge of Robotropolis is wasted, as he just hedonistically enjoys himself, while showing no interest in evil plans. Which is good in a way, maybe he's not such a threat after all, and maybe he just didn't bother because Eggman would be back too soon. Next up is issue 42.